You're using it this very second. We all use it every single day to work, to learn, to connect with people. But have you ever stopped to think about what the World Wide Web really is? It's funny. It's one of those things that's so completely a part of our lives that we almost never question it. Well, today, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're pulling back the curtain. All right, so let's just dive right in by tackling probably the single biggest point of confusion right out of the gate. You hear people say the web and the internet like they're the same thing all the time, but they're actually two very, very different things. So, the big question on the screen, aren't they the same thing? The short answer, a big fat no. And honestly, getting this one distinction right is pretty much the key to understanding everything else we're going to talk about. Okay, here's probably the best analogy I've ever heard for this. Think of the internet as all the roads and highways, the actual physical infrastructure that connects cities and countries. The World Wide Web, then, is everything on those roads. It's the shops, the houses, the libraries, all the places you actually want to visit. So one is the network itself, the other is all the stuff that lives on that network.
And we can break that down even further. When we talk about the internet, we're really talking about hardware, right? We're talking about the physical cables under the ocean, the routers in your house, all those servers. And it's all governed by something called the Internet Protocol, or IP. But the web, that's all about software. It's the world of web pages, links, and documents, and they all talk to each other using a different language, the Hypertext Transfer Protocol, or HTTP.
So if the web isn't just the internet, then where did it even come from? Well, it wasn't some kind of happy accident. It was actually a really brilliant solution to a very specific and very frustrating problem. So, picture this. It's the 1980s. You're at CERN, the huge European physics lab. You've got some of the smartest scientists in the world, but they're scattered all over the globe, and they're all trying to work together. The problem? Sharing their findings was a total nightmare. They were relying on things like direct emails or, get this, physically mailing documents. I mean, can you imagine? It was a huge, huge bottleneck holding back science. And this is where a computer scientist named Sir Tim Berners-Lee steps onto the scene. He proposes this new system in 1989, and by 1990, he actually has it up and running. But here's the truly pivotal moment. In 1993, CERN makes a decision that changed everything. They made the technology completely public domain, royalty-free. That one move, right there, is why the web became a shared resource for all of us, instead of just another product owned by a company. And you can hear the beautiful simplicity of the idea in his own words. He said, "The dream behind the web is of a common information space in which we communicate by sharing information." See? It wasn't just about linking up documents. It was about creating a shared space for human knowledge to grow. Just a powerful, simple, and, well, completely revolutionary idea. Okay, so we've got a handle on what it is and where it came from. But how does it actually work? You know that moment when you type an address into your browser and hit enter? It feels like magic, right? But it's not. It's just a really, really well-designed process that happens at lightning speed. It's pretty much a 5-step dance that happens in like the blink of an eye. So step 1, you type in a URL. Step 2, your browser asks something called a domain name server. Hey, what's the IP address for this site? Think of it like a numerical coordinate. 3, once it has that address, your browser sends a request to the server. 4, the server shoots back all the website's files. And finally, step 5, your browser catches all those files and puts them together into the web page you see on your screen. Bam! So that second step is super important. The DNS, the domain name system, is basically the internet's phone book. It's that simple. See, we humans are good at remembering names, like Google.com. Computers, they're much better with numbers, like 142.250.77.206. The DNS is the thing that does that translation for us, instantly. And what about the URL you type in? Well, think of that as the specific street address. It doesn't just tell your browser which building to go to, it tells it which floor to go to and which room to find inside. It's how your browser finds the exact page or image or file you're trying to get. HTTP. This is the language that makes the whole conversation happen. It's just a set of rules, a protocol that both your browser and the server have agreed to use. It's how they understand each other's requests and responses without getting their wires crossed. And last but not least, HTML. This is the stuff the server sends back. Now, it's not the pretty, finished web page. Think of it more like the blueprint. It's the code that says, put a heading here, a paragraph goes here. This is where the image should be. It's the fundamental building blocks that your browser uses to actually build the page you see. So you take those key technologies and boom, a revolution was born. I mean, the web's impact has been so massive, so profound, it's kind of hard to even imagine what modern life would be like without it. Just think about how it has completely rewired our daily routines. We don't really go to the library for information anymore, right? We have the world's knowledge in our pocket. We don't just go shopping. We have these giant global marketplaces that deliver to our door. We can learn from anywhere. We can watch almost anything. All of it, totally on demand. And it goes way beyond just knowledge and shopping. It's how we keep up with our friends through social media. It's how we do our banking. It's how we look for jobs, how we research our health, how we plan our vacations. I mean, honestly, try to think of a part of modern society that the web hasn't touched. It's almost impossible. So yeah, what started out as this really clever tool for scientists to share research papers has morphed into the central nervous system of our entire global society. It's been a catalyst for change on a scale that I don't think even its creators could have possibly imagined. But that transformation hasn't been without its problems. For all of the incredible world-changing benefits, the web has also opened up a whole Pandora's box of unintended and pretty challenging consequences. And just to get a sense of the scale here, let's look at one piece of data. Research from the Pew Research Center found something pretty sobering. Nearly 7 out of 10 students say they've experienced online harassment. It just goes to show that the very openness that makes the web amazing can also create spaces for real harm. And the problems, of course, go deeper than that. I mean, we're all fighting this constant battle against addiction and distraction on our phones. We're seeing how quickly misinformation can spread and just poison our ability to agree on basic facts. And underneath it all are these huge, nagging questions about privacy. You know, who's collecting our data, and what are they doing with it? So it's this weird paradox, isn't it? The very thing that makes the web so incredibly powerful, its ability to connect every single one of us, is the exact same thing that creates all these new vulnerabilities. We're constantly having to navigate that dual nature. And that kind of leaves us with one big final question to think about. Remember, Tim Berners-Lee's inventions started out by connecting documents, by connecting information. But today, it's connecting our money, our friendships, and pretty soon it'll be connecting our homes, our cars, our cities. So as we look to the future, we really have to